Welcome to Chamber Talk. I am so excited today to have a dear friend on the show with me, Miss Henrietta Williams. Henrietta, thank you so much for joining me today. And the reason you're on the show today, and I know you know that, but I think some of our viewers, some may be surprised to know. Some people may say, well, I know she's been there a long time, but I didn't know it was that long. But Henrietta, you're about to celebrate 24
years
at Dublin Nissan Chevrolet and GMC.
Absolutely.
And we'll get to, it wasn't always that name whenever you started there.
Right.
But thank you so much for coming today. Congratulations. And for our viewers, just in case there's anybody here that hasn't met you or doesn't know you here in Dublin, Orange County, tell us a little bit about Henrietta Williams.
And thank you so much for having me, and thank you for giving me this honor because I've worked in this community for a long, long time. I started off in the insurance industry in 1980 with A.L. Williams, where I was the regional vice president with that company for about 14 years. And by accident, I went to the dealership, which was Dublin Cadillac at the time, and I said, well, I'm going to try this and see if I can do it. And so Graham Slater at the time hired me and told me to come to work the next week. I said, I'm not quite ready. So I went back to the insurance industry for a month, but I came back. And at my surprise, I did fantastic. My second month there, I made salesperson of the month.
So you started in sales.
I started in sales.
Okay.
And it has been a good, great journey ever since I started. I got so many wonderful customers. And James Deal was a part of the business there. He was a part owner, and I learned a lot from him. He's a great automobile person. He knows how to do a deal, and we took care of people back then. We cared about people, and it just rolled over with me. That's one of my things is I believe in taking care of my customers, and I credit
can testify to that.
I credit that to learning a lot from James Deal, learning a lot from the insurance industry, and learning a lot from my parents is being good to people. If you be good to people and let people know you care about them, then they appreciate you and they'll come back. So it's been a fantastic journey along.
So I know, and you know as well, it wasn't just a coincidence or whatever that you ended up there. You and I both are very strong in our faith.
Absolutely.
And I think the things that God has been able to do in you and through you during all those years are certainly a testament to your faith, and that's why you have the smile that you have. And you do care for your customers and folks. And I'm going to call Henry because that's what all of her friends call her.
They do.
And so you don't go by Henrietta usually. But Henry, tell me a little bit about when you first got in, if you remember, into the car business. What was scary or new or what if you can recall your first, maybe even some struggles or challenges you had learning that industry?
At that time when I went in, it was a little more difficult because I was the only female, the only black person at the dealership. So I was thrown into a male role, a black person.
24 years ago.
24 years ago. So there was struggles and times that I wanted to give up. But I always remember my dad says, never give up. Anything worth working for is worth having. So I kept going along, and it's just like I say, it's been a fantastic journey. You don't concentrate on the negatives. You forget about the negatives, and because in every negative situation, there's something positive going on.
Amen.
So I tried to think about the positive things that I had. I was a single parent at the time with 2 boys, and I wanted to be home with my boys. Insurance took me all over. I would be flying here and leaving them for 2 or 3 days, and I wanted to be there to set a foundation for my boys and let them know you gotta have rules, and I had to be there to make sure it happened. So that was my motivation to start in the automobile, because I said I would be at home at nighttime and I could be there with the boys. I could go to functions with them. So that was really why I started in the car business.
Okay. Henry, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back and we're going to talk about some of your career and experiences at the Chevrolet dealership and the Nissan and the GMC, and I know you guys did Cadillacs at one time,
We did.
and all sorts of brands. So we're going to take a short commercial break, and we'll be right back.
I'm Locke Wilford with 3 big reasons to buy at Dublin Nissan: price, selection, and savings.
Drive the Rogue SV for as low as $26,740 with 0% financing.
Get more Nissan for your money at Dublin Nissan.
Drive the Altima SV as low as $23,725.
I'm Don Carswell. For every vehicle we sell in October, we'll be making a donation to the fight to end breast cancer.
Call, click, or come see us. Dublin Nissan, the only dealer you will ever need.
Hello, I'm John Martin, physical therapist and athletic trainer from Rehab Advantage Sports Medicine. I'd like to take this opportunity to invite you to some of our workshops here at Rehab Advantage. We've been hosting workshops every 3 weeks, some for low back pain, shoulder pain, arthritis, and for balance and vertigo problems. And so feel free, we'd love to have you come. We'd love to share information with you about these injuries and how you can get well naturally from these things. And we'd just love to tell you more about it right here at Rehab Advantage. We usually have them hosted at 6 p.m. on Thursday evenings. That does change sometimes, so be sure to look at our website or give us a call 478-275-1800.
Welcome back to the show. Henry, again, thank you so much. And again, congratulations. 24 years in the same industry. That's just speaks volumes today. So many people are in and out of careers, and there's not really today a lot of longevity sometimes in one particular industry. So you've seen the ins, the outs, the goods, the good, the bad, and even some name changes, some product and brand changes. So let's talk a little bit about that and the different types of vehicles, I guess, that you've had to learn over the years, and the changes even at the dealership where you still work today.
Yeah, we constantly have to take tests. When I first came there, it was we did a lot of paperwork. Everything was done on paper rather, but as the years went on, we had to learn how to do the computer, and I wasn't that smart with computers. I went and took some classes at the Heart of Georgia, and I learned a little bit there, but as time go on, things constantly change every day, every year, and you got to learn how to adapt to these changes. And I was so blessed. I've been so blessed to be salesperson of the year for 24 years, and I think that's amazing, and
Absolutely.
I credit that to my customers, them having faith in me and coming back. And I've sold parents that had children. Now I'm selling the children, and soon we'll be selling the grandchildren.
Wow.
So it's just been a very, very good experience.
So what different, I know you guys, tell me, you started out as what was the dealership again when you started?
It was Dublin Cadillac Oldsmobile.
Cadillac Oldsmobile. Okay, so talk to me a little bit about some of the different names that you've worked under and the different brands that you've sold.
We started off, when I started off, we had, as I said, we had the Cadillac brand then. And I miss that as of today, and I still sell a few Cadillacs because we own with a company out of Florida that has a Cadillac franchise. So I'll have my owner now, my GM rather, to locate me one out of Florida because people still like the Cadillac brand. And as years went on, we dropped Oldsmobile, and then we dropped Cadillac, and then we acquired the Pontiac. And we've had so many different changes over the years, but currently we have Nissan, Chevrolet, GMC, and Buick.
Okay.
And you have to learn all those products. We're constantly taking tests every month. You have to stay up on your product knowledge, because if you don't, your customer's going to stay up on it.
So let's talk just a little bit for our viewers today, Henry. Maybe if you're a young person today and you're just starting to drive, what would you recommend and why?
I would recommend, if it's a young person, say a college person, the parents are buying the little small Nissan cars now for them. I guess I'm a little partial to Nissan because we're a Nissan family at my house. And I would recommend them getting something like a Sentra, then graduate up to the Rogue for the young people. But the young family, I'm recommending that they get the Rogue because it has enough room for the kids and enough room to be comfortable in front. You just got to learn to read your customer when they come up. I can kind of read my customer. I sit there and talk with them for a few minutes. you got to sell them their needs, not what you want to sell them, and find out what their needs are.
Right.
And you will become good at it as years go on. 24 years is a long time.
Right. And maybe this would lead into more of the next question in the progression there, because you left out my favorite. But so maybe a business person traveling, what type of recommendation for someone that travels maybe a lot?
Okay, if a person travels a lot and it's a male, I recommend them to get something like a Murano would be more family-like, but I would recommend they get something like an SUV, because a lot of times, like a Terrain, a Traverse, it gives them the option to carry what they need to carry around. Plus, if you're a business person, sometimes you got to pick up your clients. It gives them more room to pick up their clients too.
Okay. And you guys, I don't know if you can beat the Altima for gas mileage. Do you have a car that gets better gas mileage than the Altima?
No, and it's comfortable too. It's very comfortable, as you know.
Yeah, I have two.
The Altima is very good cars. You're going to get upper 30 miles
Almost
per
40. Yeah, yeah.
miles per gallon, and the comfort level is just great. You can't beat it.
So technology in cars today, yeah, we're seeing a lot of different things and autonomous vehicles and things like that. Do you see that coming to the dealership soon here?
Yes, and you know one thing that I'm excited about, and I had the opportunity to experience, is that ProPilot in the Nissan products. I was afraid to try it out on the road, but once you get up to, say, 45, 50 miles per hour, turn on your cruise and you're going down the road, you have to take your hands off the steering wheel and it drives itself. So technology has come a long ways over the last 24 years. And I'm excited about what they've done, and I'm excited about what they're going to do in the future. It's just a good business to be in. Most of all, I love my customers. I go the extra mile for my customer.
Henry, as far as the technology goes today in the cars, what do you enjoy the most about technology in cars? What's the one feature that you think makes you the happiest in the new cars?
It's the safety features that has been instilled into these cars, like all the cameras that you don't back up on people. You got side view, back, front. You driving down the street and you get too close to a car, it applies the brakes for you.
Oh, I know it drives me. No, that's a good thing.
and you sell when you meet a customer, first thing you do is you find out what their needs are. If they got kids, if safety is one of their big things, and then you let them know all the safety features. You can't let them know all of them because you'll be there for a long time. Because as I said before, technology has come a long ways. It's not like it was back 95 when I first came here. But you zoom in on the airbags, the safety features, because you want to protect that precious cargo that you have in the back there, the family people. So I'm really, like I said before, I am really excited about how everything has improved over the years. I've seen a lot of things improve as far as safety and technology.
Well, and I jump all over the place sometimes when I do these interviews, Henry, so you just bear with me. But you mentioned something a minute ago, and I think it's very important, and I see with you guys when I come into the dealership up there, you said our Nissan family. So talk to me just a little bit about that and what work looks like for you and what that culture is that you guys have.
All the people there, the people there now, we are family, and when one hurt, we all hurt. And everybody comes, they're either going to call me Miss Henry or Mom, because they're going to come up with their problem. One this morning, I went in the bathroom, one lady came and she said, Miss Henry, will you please pray for my sister? And see, that just gives me so much joy that somebody can have faith in you enough to come and say, pray for me. It's a mission that not only that you're praying for your co-workers, but you have the opportunity to pray for people that come in need sometime. Sometime I know that I can't help them as far as selling them a car that day, but they have a problem. I sit there and tell them about the Lord. And that gives me joy that I can uplift somebody. And one lady came in one day and she was crying and she was telling me about her problem. She needed a car, but when she left, she got up and gave me a hug and told me thank you. And that just gives me all kind of joy because God is just good. I hate to just honey in on God, but He's my all in all.
Well, and that's what it should be. And I love to hear that. I think you and I are a lot alike in that way. Our work is a form of our ministry, and it's an opportunity for us. We interact with people on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
You're not there just to sell a car to somebody. You're there to build a relationship with somebody and to be there for them if they need you. And I'm glad we get to do that a lot at the Chamber. But that says a lot for the community that we live in here as well, and a very faith-based community that we live in here. So tell me a little bit more about your family and your faith. I want to know, and I want to know a lot about the automobile industry, but I want to know about you because we're celebrating you today and your 24 years here. So talk to me just a little bit about that faith and where you go to church and things like that.
Right now, I'm going to Rocket Creek Baptist Church in Dexter, Georgia. And my parents, I was raised up in a very Christian home. My father was a preacher. My mom, she was a missionary.
I didn't know that.
So all I ever known was go to church. We went to church on Sunday, went to church Sunday evening, went to church on Wednesday night. So it grew up in me going to church. My daddy would make sure we read the Bible. And I tried to instill these same values in my children. And I'm so proud of my boys. I have 2 boys. My oldest son, he's a deacon at his church, and he does quite well. And he'll tell me sometime I get low in spirit. And I said, Jermaine, I'm kind of worried a little bit about this or that. He said, Mama, let's pray about it. And then, it is a blessing when your child can tell you, let's pray about it.
Absolutely.
So it makes me tear up.
and isn't it great, too, that you can work in a place where you can openly share your faith?
Right, absolutely.
And I know you and I have had conversations at your desk before in the dealership there. So
and I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you coming and sharing with me because everybody don't have those same values when it comes down to life, to Christianity. You just got to do the right thing. That's one of my things there, regardless of whether it's work, selling a car, or living your life. You got to do the right thing because it comes back to you again.
Well, and I'll tell you, and I love all the guys at the dealership as well, but I know if I call, I know I'm going to get an answer or a quick call back, and I know you always take good care of me when I come up there, anything that I ever need. So I appreciate that, and I'm certain you do that with all of your customers. And again, want to say congratulations on 24 years. We're going to take one last commercial break, and then we're going to talk about the next 24 years.
Oh, so my goodness.
We'll be right back.
Curry Maffitt Insurance has been a part of our community for the past 117 years. Come in today at our brand new location in downtown Dublin and experience the difference an independent agent can make. At Curry Maffitt Insurance, we can handle all your insurance needs, including home, auto, and business. Plus, we're local. Since 1902, Curry Maffitt Insurance, now at 115 West Jackson Street in downtown Dublin.
First Lawrence Bank invites you to experience banking at its best. Whether you have personal or business needs, we're a full-service bank big enough to handle all of your banking needs and small enough to provide you with that personal touch you've grown to expect from a community bank like First Lawrence Bank. Looking forward to your future. That's First Lawrence Bank in Dublin and Dexter. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to the show. Again, I'm having a wonderful conversation with my friend, Henrietta Williams, celebrating 24 years at Dublin Nissan Chevrolet GMC. And Henry, we mentioned 24 years. I know I was joking a little bit before we went to break, but I said, let's talk about the next 24 years there. But let's talk a little bit about the future and what do you see in maybe the next 5, 10, 15 years ahead for yourself?
Okay. I have a granddaughter that just graduated from Kennesaw State. Her mother died when she was 3 years old. So I promised her, I said, I'm going to make sure you graduate. Now she's in grad school, so I have to work at least 2 more years.
Okay.
She's in Mercer now trying to get her master's. So as soon as I can get her out, maybe I'll retire. Maybe I'll just come down to the dealership and sit around and talk.
So 2 more years.
2 more
Unless
years.
a lot of people come on in today and buy a new car, you might be able to speed that process
I
up
might
just
speed
a
it up
bit.
a little bit.
So tell me, Henry, for you, what does retirement look like to you?
You know, I'm really afraid of retirement because I don't want to give up the life I got. Because it's like I said, it's more than selling cars. I get a chance to witness to so many people that need help. I talk with so many people about, are you saved? Do you know the Lord? And you know, it just gives me joy when a person say, Miss Henry, hold my hand and let's just pray.
Amen.
And we can go in the bathroom, we have a little prayer, and we come back, they feel better, and I feel better. I don't know what they do afterward, but at that moment, if God come and get them at that moment, I feel like they're going to be with the Master.
That's right. And I know you're the kind of person you're not that I would see ever not working, because you're doing Lord's work, and you're going to continue to do the Lord's work. But just maybe a perfect day for you. Let's just talk about it. You know, it's sad. A good friend of mine, Eric Bland, and a lot of folks here know Eric over at CrossFit. He and I were talking the other day, and he asked that question, you know, and I thought, I bet so many people don't think about when they wake up in the morning, but if I could have my perfect day today, what would that day look like? And don't you think it's hard for people to have a perfect day if they don't even think in their mind, what would my perfect day look like? So
Right.
What do you think? What would a perfect day look like?
A perfect day for me would probably be calling the girls at the church in the missionary department and say, let's go out and witness to somebody. Let's go to the nursing home. Because I don't see myself just sitting home I don't think I can handle that.
Right.
But I
You're
have
not
to
gonna
have
do that.
I have to have a routine. Let's go over to Dublin there and let's give out some pamphlets. Let's talk with someone. Let's do some volunteer work. I don't plan to just sit home and look at TV. And I'll go to the Chamber of Commerce and aggravate them.
Now you're talking. You come
But-
down there and volunteer with us.
Right, I just want to be able to move around and help somebody, share with someone what someone has shared with me.
And I think that's the key to it. The more you pour into others, the more you share. We always say, and you guys probably say at your church too, we can't outgive God.
That's right, absolutely.
And the more you give, the more He's going to replenish. And certainly it's not the reason why we give. It's for His glory and His honor. But He's never going to let us run out. We're never going to run dry or run empty. Matter of fact, I like to tell people there's an old gospel song, and it's called "I'm Drinking from my saucer because my cup is overflowed."
Right.
And that's just how I feel about it, and then I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah, I tell them at church, I say, don't ever sit and pity yourself because you don't have. Make it a point to thank God for the little things you have, and before you know it, you're going to have more than you need.
Right.
So you just have to be grateful because we're all here for a different purpose, and our time may not be your time. But you thank God for what you have, and you look around, man, I don't know where it came from, but it came from God.
He always provides.
Absolutely.
So another funny conversation I had the other day, actually, I was having this conversation with my mom, and she was going through some difficult times. And I said, Mom, let's do this. Right now, I want you to get out a piece of paper and a pencil, and I want you to write down for me the things that you're not happy about in your life that are you consider to be problems. And I said, I'm going to give you 3 or 4 or 5 minutes to do that. I said, and then we're going to get out a notebook, and you're going to start writing down your blessings. I said, do you see where I'm going with this? You can write down your problems in 3 or 4 minutes, probably.
Right.
You can't write down your blessings.
Oh, no.
But for some reason, sometimes we choose to focus on those 2 or 3 or 4 things rather than to focus on all those blessings that
Right.
we have. And I know you're a blessing-focused person, and that's why I enjoy being around you.
And I enjoy
And I'm sure your coworkers and your customers. So
Yeah, I thank God for my coworkers. Sometimes they get a little irritated, and I back up and I talk with the Lord about it and say, Lord, don't let me say nothing to offend them, but let me encourage them. And you know, sometimes you working in a close environment like that, everybody gonna get a little ill
Sure.
with each other.
It's
But you
family.
got it's family. But you don't fall out.
Right.
You give yourself a little space and go back, and they have to agree and give me a hug, and we be on down the road.
It's hard to be mad at somebody when they want to hug you and,
That's
and
right.
you tell them that you
I'm
love
a
them.
hugger.
That's a hard thing to do.
Absolutely.
So, Henry, if you want to, let's just take 1 minute to wrap up. And I want to say again, congratulations to you. 24 years, that's awesome, and I cannot even imagine that dealership without you being there, and I'm sure a lot of other folks couldn't imagine that and don't want to imagine that. But if you want to look into the camera and just take just a minute and you say thank you to all those folks that have supported you over the years.
Okay. Yeah, I want to thank Graham Slater for giving me the opportunity to hire me way back. Thanks James Deal for his instructions. And Locke has been an inspiration to me ever since I've been there. I thank God for him. I thank God for the owners. Right now, Don Coswell, and Don is a good car person too. I thank God for his instructions. I thank God for the respect that he have for me, because I try to live that life for everybody, that they can see some God in me. I know this was about selling cars, but I can't leave out how much God means to me, and that he's the reason that I am where I am today.
Absolutely.
And I got a little thing in the paper that I said, my customers remain my friends forever. So once I get a customer, I tell them, you stuck with me forever now.
That's right. Henry, I think you and I, like I said, we're so much alike. This is another one of my little cheesy sayings, but when you talk to God about people, you talk to people about God.
That's right, absolutely.
And God's on our heart and on our mind. We're going to share. It's just going to come out in our conversation. It's not even purposeful. It's just who you are and what you do. You did mention, Don and Locke, and those two guys are great and awesome, and I'm sure they've worked with you for years. Jimmy, your whole team there.
Right.
Like I said, you guys have a very professional team, courteous, prompt, and we really appreciate all that you guys do, not only for the Dublin Orange Chamber of Commerce, but I know you're involved in all sorts of other activities, whether it's supporting financially or with manpower or whatever it would be throughout Dublin and Lawrence County. So I think a great dealership to represent, something to be proud of, and to say, that you've been a part of that for as many years as you have. So I want to say thank you, and look forward to many more years, not just 2 years working with you. And we want to say thank you for being loyal customers and friends to Henrietta and the folks at Dublin Nissan Chevrolet GMC. Thank you for joining us today and helping us make today and every day a great day for business in Dublin and Lawrence County.